Jungkook is said to make big decisions secretly. Jimin breaks down in tears. Loudly crying face collision in recent days, the Korean entertainment world has been rocked again by shocking news involving two figures who are already like the center of gravity for millions of fans, BTS's Jimin and Jungkook. Rumors about Jungkook's big decision have quietly flowed like a torrent, creating an almost irresistible wave of worry, speculation, and curiosity. But even more thrilling is the reaction of Jimin, who is unable to hide his pain and emotions when the truth is finally revealed. Close sources describe that Jimin literally cried until his voice broke, as if the whole world collapsed in just one moment. This story is not just entertainment news, but the most honest set of human emotions: fear of loss, tested loyalty, and friendship at stake. The news began when several of Big Hit's internal staff were caught whispering to each other about a document that should not have been leaked to the public. The document was touted as a sign that Jungkook had secretly agreed to a major decision that he didn't even talk about first with the other members, including Jimin. It didn't take long for fans to notice the strange behavior of the two idols. Jungkook appears to be mostly silent, focused on training alone, and often spends time in the training room at unusual hours. Meanwhile, Jimin looked agitated and held back tears several times when asked about the other members' activities. It was from here that wild speculation began, muddying an already complicated situation. According to a staffer who declined to be named, Jungkook accepted an offer to participate in a high-level intensive program, a kind of special assignment that could have a significant impact on his career and even the group's internal relationships. The program was said to be very tiring, demanding time and energy, and could force him to miss quite a long time from some activities that had been planned with other members. What made the situation even more heated was that the decision was taken without first discussing it with Jimin, the man who for years has always been Jungkook's confidant and closest associate. Jungkook's sudden decision feels like a knife piercing the softest point in their relationship, and when Jimin finds out everything, his emotions are completely unstoppable. An internal source told how the moment happened. As Jimin walks into the rehearsal room at night looking for Jungkook as usual, he finds a white envelope lying on the table. The envelope bore his name, but not Jungkook's handwriting. Jimin initially thought it was just a rehearsal schedule or another administrative document, but when he opened the letter and read its contents, his whole body trembled. The letter contained an official notification that Jungkook had been enrolled in the intensive program and would begin in a matter of weeks. Jimin was silent for a long time, staring at the letter with warm eyes, trembling lips, and a tight chest. Shortly after, Jungkook enters the room, surprised to see Jimin reading the letter. In the first seconds, the room seemed to freeze. Jimin looked at Jungkook with teary eyes, as if he wanted to ask for an explanation but couldn't get the words out. Jungkook, who knew from the beginning that this moment was coming, could only hold a deep breath while lowering his gaze. The silence was broken when Jimin finally asked in a trembling voice, "Why didn't you say anything to me?" Jimin's voice broke so quickly, like glass falling and breaking into pieces. Jungkook approached Jimin slowly, but his steps seemed hesitant, as if every step carried a heavy sense of guilt. In a low voice, he explained that he deliberately did not tell Jimin first because he did not want to burden him. Jungkook feels Jimin is tired enough of the hectic schedule and emotional journey they have been on in recent months. But for Jimin, Jungkook's reason actually made the pain deeper. For Jimin, being treated as if he were too fragile to know Jungkook's important decisions was a form of loss of trust that had been the foundation of their relationship. That's where Jimin's tears really broke. According to witnesses, Jimin cried while sitting on the floor, hugging the letter like he was hugging something that had just taken away his happiness. A panicked Jungkook immediately knelt down in front of him, trying to grab Jimin's shoulder, but Jimin brushed it off, saying that he didn't even know Jungkook anymore. Those words hit Jungkook hard, and he looked shocked and hurt. Jungkook tried to explain that the decision was not about staying away from Jimin or reducing their closeness, but about his future as an individual. But for Jimin, the timing of that decision, its secrecy, and lack of communication felt like an emotional betrayal. The evening lasted long, very long, longer than any of the nights they had spent choreographing rehearsals, recording, or simply laughing together. Jimin kept crying, and Jungkook could only apologize over and over again, even though he knew the words felt empty amid Jimin's gaping wounds. There was a moment when Jimin finally ran out of tears, but his wounds remained clearly visible on his face, like fine lines that time could not erase in an instant. Jungkook ended up crying, not because he regretted the decision, but because he saw how much it had affected the person he loved more than anyone else. The next day, word of an emotional altercation between the two began to spread internally. Some of the staff saw Jimin come out of the rehearsal room with puffy eyes and a tired face. He tried to smile at the passing staff, but the smile was merely a reflex, devoid of the warmth he usually radiated. Jungkook himself locked himself in the room for almost 2 hours, just sitting and staring at the floor in silence. When he finally came out, he looked like someone who had lost his way, but the relationship between the two didn't stop at that point. Precisely from there, this emotional conflict opens up new spaces for a more frank and painful, but very important, dialogue. On the second night, Jimin knocked on Jungkook's door. A surprised Jungkook stood up, but said nothing, waiting for Jimin to start talking. Jimin approached slowly, his eyes still red, but his voice was quieter. He said he needed time to accept it all. He didn't want to hate Jungkook, didn't want to be angry for too long, but he felt very hurt that he wasn't given the opportunity to be a part of that big decision. Jungkook finally told the truth he had been hiding. He made the decision because he felt he was left behind. He feels stagnant, caught between the expectations of the world and his own shadow. The intensive program, according to him, could make him develop, expand himself as an artist and as a human being. But he was afraid to tell Jimin because he knew how much Jimin played a role in his emotional balance, and he was afraid that Jimin would block the decision because he didn't want Jungkook to get tired or hurt. That's the biggest reason Jungkook keeps things tight. Hearing this, Jimin was silent for a long time. He knows Jungkook is a perfectionist, knows he always wants to improve, knows Jungkook is rarely completely satisfied with himself. But still, such a big decision feels too much to bear alone. Jimin finally hugged Jungkook tightly, forcing him to feel the warmth that had been his protector in his life. In that embrace, Jimin whispered that he wanted to be by Jungkook's side, no matter how hard the journey was. He doesn't want to be a burden, he doesn't want to be a hindrance, but he wants to be the first person Jungkook meets when the world is too noisy. Over time, the relationship between the two began to improve, although the wounds did not just disappear. Jimin needs space to fit in, and Jungkook learns that strength doesn't always mean enduring everything alone. On several occasions, they were seen talking longer than usual, as if they were reassembling the pieces of a relationship that had cracked. Army, who noticed both on various occasions, sensed that something was changing. Their closeness did not disappear, but seemed more mature, more careful, more understanding. Meanwhile, the program Jungkook chose began to be in the media spotlight. Many questioned whether the decision was the right one, given his super-packed schedule and the mental stress he has endured over the past few years. But a source close to him said that Jungkook feels this is a step he should take so that he does not stop developing. He does not want his life to be trapped in a sense of security, but also does not want his important relationships to be ruined because of his decisions. That's why, despite the pain, he kept trying to explain himself to Jimin, making sure that his journey forward would not separate them.